2, 3. Hey, welcome to the Javier Mendez podcast. It is Father's Day, and fathers, what they do on Father's Day is they podcast, and we talk about fights. That's how it works. So, Javier, which fights did you watch? Did you watch Bellator and the UFC? You watched them both?
Well, I watched PFL.
That too.
And I watched Bellator. And I watched the UFC. So I watched all three. Bellator, well, let's go with the one that was first, the PFL.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the PFL. There was really nothing that stood out for me on that show other than the girl that beat the former champ, what's
I know you're talking about
the Olympic the gold
judo.
medalist.
Judo
I don't
fighter.
know why I forgot her name. We should know her name. They promote her more than anybody. I just have a brain fart. I know who she is. The girl that beat her, the Brazilian. I saw her fight, and she annihilated the girl that she fought, who was almost 6 foot girl or something like that.
Wow.
She beat her up pretty good.
She's kind of like their Amanda Nunes, their version.
Yes. That's exactly. She's like Amanda, but not as technical as Amanda, not as calculated as Amanda. A little bit more on the
brute force.
Brute force. Yeah, Amanda is more technical and just a little bit more advanced. But this girl is very much on track to being a great fighter herself.
So we also get confirmation on Umar, right?
A
couple days ago.
I've been seeing it on Instagram, so I'm assuming that it's confirmed. Yes, I'm assuming. Did you see it on the UFC site?
I'm going to double check right now while we're talking.
Yeah, double check, because I don't want to open my mouth and all of a sudden it's
I've seen it. Like, are people trolling us? Is it real? You know what I mean? That's what you. Sandhagen, Umar Nurmagomedov set for UFC Fight Night. Yeah.
Okay, so it's done.
August 5th.
Okay, all right.
They're the headline fight.
Isn't that funny how
what you said?
Here I know, but I don't know. I knew we were preparing for him for 3 weeks, but I didn't know because we didn't have anything signed until it's put on their site, bro. It's not valid. So that's why I don't like saying it, because it's like, I'm talking about something that doesn't happen. So a lot of people have done that. They go, oh, this fight's going to happen. Oh, this fight's sick. Oh, this and that. It doesn't happen. Because why? Because the contracts weren't signed, and even though both sides may agree to fight, but the contracts are not signed and they're not in the books. So if the contracts aren't signed, they're not in the books. It doesn't matter what both camps say. It does not matter. That's why I don't like doing that. And it's my own guy, and I knew we were supposed to fight him. But again, I couldn't say, yeah, we're fighting Corey Sandhagen when all of a sudden, come like that day, right? And they announce to somebody else. Then here I said something was bullshit because he's fighting somebody else. But yeah, we were scheduled to fight Corey. They were looking to work the contracts out. Now that it's released, it's final.
Yeah. So what do you think about Sandhagen for an opponent? He's not a big smack talker, pretty just straight up, ready to show up and do work. What do you think?
It's okay because Umar's not a smack talker either, and I don't think anybody that's a smack talker is going to get very much from Umar. They're just going to get a fight. They're just going to get a fight. They're probably going to get a fight they wish they never had.
Gotta say, that's a pretty competitive battle. Probably it's going to be his most thus far. What do you think about that fight as a matchup with Umar? It's like, I think Umar's got great kickboxing skills. I think this guy's pretty good at stand up. He's long, but it's just countering that. What are your thoughts on that kind of fight?
His stand up is his best weapon against us. And the striking wise, the knees up the middle are really good. He's got good long range. He's got a good left kick. He's very intelligent fighter. Let's see what happens. I don't really want to talk what's going to happen as far as
details,
technique,
game plan.
but
No game
plan. But I can tell you that Umar's not losing. You know, that I can say with confidence. You know, so yeah, he's not losing.
This is to get what Umar. He is Sandhagen in the top 5 or top 10 at least, right?
He's top. He's top 5. Let's put it this way: a win like this, it's possible because of all the mix-up everywhere that it could put us in the title contention. It could. I'm just throwing it out there, UFC. Once we win,
they watch
throwing
this
it out
show.
there. I'm throwing it out there.
Thank you, UFC. Thank you for watching our show. You took our advice in making the fight.
Yeah, exactly.
They watch here. If they want to know what to do next time, they watch this show. I just want you to know.
The funny thing about it is I predicted this. If you look back at my talks, I said we'll have one fight against hopefully a top 5 guy, and if we win that, we get a title shot, and then we win that. So okay, so let's say 75% of what I predicted has come true so far. Because here we are right now, we're in that situation, and let's see. You know, once we get the W, you know, let's see what happens. I'm expecting like always, you know, 5-round war, and you know, because anything less than that is a disrespect to how great of a fighter Sandhagen is. He's really really good fighter. So, you know, we can't underestimate him. So I'm not going to.
No, that's the kind of fight you don't go in there afraid. You go in there going, this is a challenge, and you got to be sharp, and he has to be focused to every millimeter of his capacity. That's what I think about this fight. That's how I see it.
Any fighter that goes in afraid doesn't belong fighting. You know, you may be nervous. You get nervous and stuff, and you may not want to lose. That's very normal. That's very typical of almost every fighter. But to be afraid to go in there, you don't belong fighting. You know, if you're afraid, you're gonna hold back. You're not gonna pull the trigger as quick as you need to, and it could definitely lead to you getting hurt. So definitely for those fighters that think they're afraid, understand if you really are afraid or it's just nerves. Because if it's just nerves, it's par for the course. They all get nervous.
Yeah. So you basically have 2 months. That's plenty of prep time. Plus, he's already been pre-prep in the prep. Basically, staying steady with you.
He's been training, so it's you know, we got 7 weeks to go, right? 7 weeks,
something like that.
So,
yeah.
He's been training. You know, he's been here. He's doing fantastic. You know, and like always, you know, his brother's ahead of him in fights. I think his brother's 16-0.
Yeah.
15-0, I believe. So you know, wouldn't that be something? That day when all 3 of them are 29-0, Habib retired at 29-0, Usman retires at 29-0, Umar retires at 29-0. Can you imagine that?
Yeah,
that would be historical. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm just saying that would be historical. The fact that they can go 29-0, all 3 of them, yeah, that 100% could happen. They're that good, but to all retire at 29-0, that would be something in special.
Well, the game is going up. I mean, your guys have stayed at the top of what I see in the Dagestani fighting style. I do see some other guys that don't train with the team, like the Habib, but Eagle team, but other Dagestanis, and some of them are getting really seriously challenged by other styles of fighting.
Yeah.
We're going to get into that when we talk about that other card. Back to Bellator. Bellator, I tuned in and I was watching, I was watching the former UFC fight the former UFC in light heavyweight, the 2 wrestlers, Corey Anderson, you know what I'm talking about? That fight was, those were 2 guys. That was the 2 styles that were very much like each other. And they both had really long arms, a lot of reach. And that was really interesting.
You're talking fight. Phil Davis and Corey Anderson. It was a good, entertaining fight. Not great fight, but good fight.
Yeah,
you know, and Corey Anderson won. You know, he's just better. I don't know if he's better coached or he's just better. You know, or just better that night. You know, but it was definitely a somewhat entertaining fight. And then from there, you know, the one that stuck out to me was the main event, which is a semi-main event. I call it the main event because I think it should have been the main event, because when you're going for a historical three championships in 3 weight divisions, and Patricky, it's like, why wouldn't he get top billing? I don't know. He did it, but I was thinking that was the main event to me, and when I tuned into it, he was the semi main event. I guess they know what they're doing. I guess but I would think that having a guy go up for three titles would be a main event, but I guess the TV execs, they know what they're doing, and they put it according to where they want to go. But this is one of those.
Patricky versus Pettis.
Sergio Pettis. The
Pettis.
thing is, it was a very entertaining fight. It was one of those where Pitbull was trying to put the pressure on. Didn't throw enough hands, in my opinion. Didn't put enough pressure on him, and allowed Sergio to outpoint him. And when he did try to take him down, Sergio was very elusive. He got him down 2 times, but Sergio got up very quick without any damage. Patricky didn't really get damage at all. Pitbull didn't get damage at all, but he just didn't put enough pressure, and Sergio did. And it just goes to show you that here you got a guy that went up to lightweight and knocked out Michael Chandler for the Bellator title. Then he goes down to featherweight, defends that, and he beats AJ McKee, right? And then he comes down, it drops away to 135, and you think, oh man, he fought Chandler, knocked him out, beat AJ McKee. Those are 2 real world champion material guys. And now you're thinking he's fighting Sergio Pettis, the lesser of the 2 as far as grappling, wrestling type situations. And here, what happens? He can't take him down, and when he takes him down, he gets back up and he gets outpointed. It just goes to show you that just because A, B, and C equals D doesn't mean it's going to equal win. It doesn't. It's just styles, and how you prepare for that style. And in this particular situation, it was not a very good day for Pitbull. I wanted him to win. I wanted to see that. He's such a professional, I really wanted him to win. But at the same time, too, I don't know Pitbull. He trained with us a couple of days. He came and sparred with us. Yeah. He came out a few years back. He sparred with Zubaira and sparred with a few other guys. And, great guys, very professional. And but I do know Duke Rufus, so I'm very happy for Duke. For Sergio, 2 brothers, to actually gain world titles is pretty impressive. It's not easy for brothers to gain world titles. And those 2 have done it. That's why I'm so happy. When I know Umar is going to get a world title, it's going to make me very happy because I know it's not easy to do.
You've known Duke a long time, huh?
Yes, I've known Duke. Yes, I've known him a long time, probably 20 years or so.
Yeah, I gotta say that fight with Nemkov and Romero. Nemkov was just putting it out there. Romero had some little moments, some little flashes, but he was too busy covering up in a shell because Nemkov didn't slow down. He was full output, and he had power.
Yeah. You ever in your life ever see such a decorated wrestler not use wrestling one time?
Yeah.
And then when he had to use wrestling in the 5th round, the very end of the 5th round, he had to use wrestling because Nemkov and him got in a close quarter, and then he dominated. How in the world does a guy that gifted in wrestling never, ever chooses to use what he is the best at? He's not the best striker, never been the best striker. The guy is a beast, 46 years old. He could still do damage, and he didn't go use the one weapon that's his biggest threat. He never uses it, and I'm just shocked every time I see him. Why the hell do you not use what you are better than anybody at? He is one of the most decorated wrestlers of all time, and he does not use his wrestling. And yet he's competitive as hell. He's dangerous as hell. Can you imagine if he would have used his wrestling from the beginning, how tired Nemkov would have been defending his wrestling, how tired he would have been from everything. Why does this guy not use the great wrestling that he has? I would be so mad at him if I was his coach. I'd be so pissed at him every day. I'd probably get so frustrated that if he never wanted to wrestle, I'd probably never want to work his corner, because why am I going to work your corner when you're not fighting to your best potential? You're a great wrestler. And don't get me wrong, he's got a great heart. He's a fighter, but he's not a great fighter because he chooses not to be a great fighter. Because if he uses his great wrestling, He could be a great fighter. He still can be, believe it or not, at 46 years of age. That guy, he showed me he could still beat these guys. You know, he just
Yeah,
has to use his wrestling. And if he doesn't use his wrestling, then fine, go out there and throw more. Go throw more. Be more active. Don't play around. Go after these guys. Go out like a pit bull and tear these guys apart. Because this guy can take a shot, and man, when he gives it, he can give it. And I don't know. I just get frustrated with him because I know how great of a wrestler he is, and I know how great of an athlete he is, that he doesn't use his wrestling. He used it in this one, and it just showed how complete dominant he was.
yeah.
Watch the fight. Watch and see what happens. See if someone dares to tell me I'm wrong. This guy is an incredible wrestler. He doesn't use it.
That's true. I agree. What did you think about Gaji's fight? Your guy?
I didn't see Gaji's fight. I know he won. I didn't see it. You know, it's like because
I think they put it on YouTube, and I think I just missed it.
I didn't see it because something happened with some of the four fights. Four fights got put on later, and I didn't know how to get it. So
Well,
once,
what they do is they call it the post limbs instead of prelims. Post
yeah,
limbs. So they put them on YouTube. So just so you know in the
I,
future
didn't-
when
I,
they
didn't-
are.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Did he win decision, knockout, or what? I don't know.
Yeah, he won decision, I believe.
Yeah, yeah. Ngachi's really tough. You know, really tough. I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
I was surprised he was that low in the card because he's more. They were just trying to get more guys to fight because he's been more of a main attraction than that.
Well,
But
he's what? He's got 4-0 in the organization, 5-0,
right,
4-0.
right. You wouldn't want to put him on a post limb, but whatever. I mean, if you haven't had guys fight in a while and you want to get them fighting and keep them paid and moving, then you got to do what you got to do. You know, that's just how it is.
UFC does that. They have to get guys fights. They have to put them on, whether it's on the prelims or not. UFC has some
Right.
prelim fighters that are fight for 2-2 sometimes. I see these guys on the prelims fighting for enormous money, but because they're big name guys, but they got to get them out there and they got to get the fights, you know. So sometimes they have to put these guys out there that are big money guys.
So back to now we're talking UFC. I was talking about like Dagestan guys having some issues. Did you see the fight with Muslim Sakalov, King of Kung Fu, versus Dalby?
Yeah, I saw that. That was it was one of those situations where you know he got hit with that good kick right to the head, and it gave that other guy more power, and he just kept coming forward, putting pressure, and the other guy was a really good. Dalby was a really good kickboxer, and if you're not that good of a kickboxer, you're not going to do that to the the Dagestani fighter. No way, no way are you going to do that. And he did because he was a really good kickboxer, and also
Strong.
I believe Sulikov was what 39 years old or 40, somewhere up there, and that starts to wear
39.
on you too. Yeah, it starts to wear on you in some fighters. He's had a lot of wars, you know, and Sulikov, you know, hey, you know, he's a great fighter, one of the greatest Sanda fighters of all time, and I mean they call him King of Sanda for a reason, right? And
King of Kung Fu.
yeah, Sanda. It's Kung Fu Sanda. They call it King
Yeah.
of Sanda. Yeah. So now, but you know, he's great, but it just showed, you know, that you know you got to be well rounded, and mostly if you can deal with the stand up, you know, taking the guy down. It's you know the guys that work the ground, you know, don't necessarily have to be as great stand up. They just have to be good stand up, you know, and that's my case in point with Romero. It's like he don't have to be that great on the stand up, but he's damn good on the stand up. That if he just used his wrestling, these guys couldn't handle him.
Exactly. Well, Dalby was handling the wrestling and getting back up. He had a lot of power. He like where I would see most guys start, you know, backing off like, oh, he's got me. You know, this guy Dalby just kept going. He was impressive to me.
No, he just kept going. He got hit with the spinning back kick, and he just it's like whatever, you know. And he was going back somewhat when he got hit, but still he took it pretty good, and he kept coming back.
Speaking of kickboxers, what did you think about the Armin Petrosian fight versus Christian Leroy Duncan?
That was a good fight. You know, Petrosian stuck to his game, you know, and Duncan, you know, he kept trying his, you know, Brazilian capoeira type stuff, and it just was not.
He had him once. He
you know,
had him once, man.
yeah,
With
he
the
had him.
elbow. That elbow.
Yeah,
Woo!
but it just wasn't enough. And on top of
Right.
that, you know, all that movement as the rounds went on, just it just wasn't as sharp. He wasn't as sharp because you did all that movement. You can't move as much like that in the first round and think you're going to have the same output in the second round and the third round. Just not going to happen. So it didn't have the same output. But the other fight that I thought was very impressive was that guy from Mexico that did that step in elbow.
Yeah.
That was really impressive. I forgot his name. Like 23 years old from Mexico.
Let's see. You're talking about
I think Nunez.
There's Manuel Torres against Nicolas Mota. Yeah, the elbow. Yeah, it was Manuel Torres.
Manuel Torres?
Yeah, he's the tall, lean Mexican guy that just came in there and like bent his elbow perfect, like a knockout punch. Just
very impressive, very impressive. He wants to come down train with us. His coaches, his coaches. We train at his coach's gym up in Las Vegas when we're there. We're good friends with the head coach. Cabrina's Jiu-Jitsu. We go there, and that's where he trains there. His kids good. They have a lot of good. They have a lot of good Latin fighters there at this gym, Cabrina's in Las Vegas.
That's pretty good. That guy'd be exciting to have around the gym, for sure.
Yeah, he'd be good work. He'd be good work for the guys. He's good. He's good.
He'd like the grappling that you guys give for sure.
Well, he knows he can grapple himself, so he's good all the way around.
Pat Sabatini, Lucas Almeida. Did you see that one?
Pat Sabatini fought a clinic. It was a clinic. If you want to take out a good jiu-jitsu guy, Pat Sabatini took advantage of great wrestling with great knowledge of jiu-jitsu and just nullified any jiu-jitsu that the other guy had. Sabatini fought just a clinic. It was a clinic. You want to watch how you use wrestling with jiu-jitsu combined to beat just strict jiu-jitsu? Watch that fight.
And then here's this other guy that was hunting for Islam for a long time, but they've already fought before. Arman,
yeah.
Sarukian versus Joaquin Silva.
Joaquin Silva and Arman. It was a good fight. The problem I thought was Arman was too cocky, too confident, I'm going to beat this guy in the first round. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I always say it. It's like, man, I'd rather have a guy that is over cocky than underconfident. I'd rather have him overconfident than underconfident, but I'd rather be in the middle because overconfident is just doesn't work all the time either. And then this is one of those particular cases where he was talking all that shit about I'm going to finish him in the first round. He's not going to belong in there with me. Well, this kid ended up giving him a hell of a fight till the very end when he finally got his act together. But this kid took him for a ride and almost took his ass out. He almost took him out,
the threat of him taking him out was there. You could tell.
Yeah,
you could tell by looking at Joaquin the power that he had. Like if he just connects with you, bro, and he probably can if you're not careful.
Well, he did. He hit him with that left hook, and then he hit him with the right. And he was a little off there on that, So, Arman is definitely someone to watch for in the future. He's definitely a future title contender if he keeps going like this. But I think slow the cockiness down a little bit. Just focus on making every opponent your toughest opponent versus he's a bum. I'm gonna take him out in the first round.
Yeah, after that fight, you better check yourself and take your big bag of humility and eat that for lunch because you almost get taken out by a guy that's way down the ranks in comparison to who's above you.
Yeah, he took a great chance and he almost got taken out, by risking it all, and he shouldn't have risked it. In my opinion, he should have just stayed focused, not talked bad about his opponent like he's nothing. He should have talked great about his opponent, prepared for a great match, and he probably would have taken him out in the first round if he would have mentally gotten that situation. But he was the total opposite. I'm going to destroy this guy. He doesn't belong in there with me. Well, you sure proved that wrong because you proved that he did belong in there with you. You proved that he did have a chance to beat you, and you should have done what you said, and you couldn't, and that's because you were overconfident.
I've seen Arman fight before. He did good, but this guy he was fighting had lost 2 out of his last 3 fights going in. But he was a power. He was the dark horse. Anything could have happened with him with Joaquin.
Yeah. What about that Brazilian kid, for the jiu-jitsu coach? He fought Hicks. Fought Hicks. Yeah, he fought Hicks. It was the last fight on the prelims. It was the main event in the prelims, and he kept kicking them on the Achilles, the calf kick, below the calf. Kept kicking him, and that destroyed him. The kid's very powerful. He's from the same gym as Alexis Grasso and Aldana, and a bunch of great fighters coming from that camp in Mexico. And this Brazilian coach, he's the coach, and he fought. He had 14-2 or something like that, and he went in. He had more of a notice on this fight. Before that, he fought that other guy. He fought the real tough guy in short notice, or not short notice, but he fought the real top ranked guy, and he lost that one. And this one here, he came in as underdog, but he showed that man, much improvement from the last time, being poised, and he kept going for the calf kick, and the guy, kept going to it over, and then strong boxing, and basically he immobilized the leg. Once he hit that leg, that guy couldn't do anything. He was finished. And Hicks was really good. He was real tough guy, but.
I'm looking for Hicks. Are you talking some like Bellator, or are we talking UFC? Because I'm looking on
no, maybe I got
Flick,
the name wrong. It's
Jimmy.
Jesse,
There's
Jimmy
Jimmy Flick lost.
Flick. Jimmy
He lost
Flick.
by elbows, but to Alessandro Costa.
Yeah, but it wasn't elbows that got him. It was the calf kick. He kept getting there. He got killed there. He got murdered there on both
So then
sides.
he got finished with the elbows. Okay, I see.
Yeah, because what he did, he couldn't even stand. He shot in, and basically, the other guy defended and started raining elbows on him. But he was done. There was no way he was going to stand. It was a great finish from him. And that was an example of these guys better, number one, leg check those damn calf kicks, or don't be there.
Yeah.
Let them keep kicking you, because that's a home run. Every time you let them kick you, it's like it's just a matter of time before you all of a sudden you can't even move that leg.
Well, now we're at the main card, and we've learned that Marvin Vettori has a bulletproof head. That's basically what I'll say. Jared Cannonier looked tremendous, and Vettori looked like he was trying to keep up, and I'm surprised Vettori didn't wrestle him more. Maybe he just wanted to be in a kickboxing, because I'd seen Vettori use his grappling on people to slow them down before, but maybe because Jared wasn't as big as the huge Brazilian guy that he fought, and he was like against Paulo Costa. He's like, oh, this guy's smaller. He's not as dangerous. Jared was a beast, man. What did you think about that fight?
Well, originally when they first started, remember, Jared was southpaw, and he got nailed right away.
He was walking. He was walking into all of Marvin's stuff, walking right into it.
Yeah, because he was southpaw and he was not used to that. And I think their thing was to go to the calf kick, so that's why he was on that side going for the calf kick. But he wasn't so good on the offense when he switched southpaw. So every time he came switching southpaw, he got nailed. Then he figured it out, and then he stayed orthodox, and then he did the damage, and he controlled himself throughout the whole round. And he landed the most strikes in the UFC history. I mean, that guy just one after another. I think in the fourth round, I think he surpassed the record. So he had one more full round to keep, upping his record. It's incredible. What can you say, about the other guy? Vettori took shot after shot after shot after shot with not much effect on him, really, other than he was getting fatigued. But other than that, it didn't really appear to hurt him much. Marvin is, man, I don't know.
Marvin is made out of wood.
I don't know what he's made out of, but that guy took shots that no man.
He took the record of shots in the UFC. If the guy gave the record of punches, he took the record of punches and absorbed the record of punches. So I think they both have a record, I guess.
Well, if you think about it from that point of view, yeah, you're right. He probably got the record, So that was it was amazing. It was just an amazing fight. They both got fight of the night, $50,000 bonus, because they threw down, and that's the kind of fights that get people watching. And you never can count Marvin out. That's the thing. It's not like he was getting wiped out. He was never in the fight. He was in the fight throughout the whole 5 rounds.
Yeah.
Never, not one time was he, oh, he's done. No, it was always like you felt like one shot, and it never came. but you can always see that Marvin was in the fight till the very end. I mean,
Yeah,
nothing but great applause for that. And
he's
you know,
working with Dewey now, and Dewey's a great coach. It's just I don't know, maybe it just wasn't Marvin's night. I think he could have done a little better, actually.
I mean, I don't know.
Speculation,
I,
what it looks like on paper and what it looks like when it really happens is could be totally different, right?
I have no idea if it's related to coaching or not. It's just
No,
one
no, no.
fighter,
I
the
think
better
he's
athlete.
got a I think he's got a great coach. I'm just saying, like it was on Marvin. I don't think that anything falls on the coach. His coach is great. He's especially a stand-up specialist. Should have. That's why he should be working with them. But I'm just saying, I felt like Marvin might not have been showing up 100% in his health or something. Like he wasn't all there. That's what it
I
felt
don't
like
think
to me.
I don't think any of that. I just think he got beat by a better guy that night.
Yeah, and that's me saying it as a civilian. You're the fight coach. It's kind of like we look at it. Oh well, he could have been in better shape. Whoever shows up 100%, nobody.
Nobody,
Everybody's
but
saying
but also
nobody.
also also you got to understand. We just talked about it. How the heck can you take that kind of punishment and still be in the fight and still have the energy? He was in great shape. He was
Amazing.
in great shape. He was in great shape. They both were in great shape. So it has nothing to do with coaching, great shape. It just has a lot to do with who got hit with what and what strategies were implemented. And Jared, at the beginning, if he'd have stayed southpaw, it might have gone the other way. Might have gone the
Yeah,
other way very easily because it was the first round was going his way until he switched up a lot. Then he stayed orthodox for the most part. But when he was southpaw, every time he went southpaw, he's getting nailed. And I think Jared caught on to it, or his corner told him, "Don't go southpaw, stay orthodox." Because he was going for the lower leg calf kick.
yeah,
And then Jared went in for takedowns to mix everything up to show everybody he can do everything. And he proved it. He's deserving of a top contender next. Before you can get another title shot. So Jared, applause to both of them. I mean, they both fought. I mean, it could have gone either way. They could fight again tomorrow, and it could be Marvin's way all the way through. Who knows?
I can see that. Yeah, I think that's the path. I mean, that's what it is. Jared basically said he doesn't like. I think he turned down Hazmat. He's like he's not even ranked. That's his take. He wants to just get to the title.
Well,
Being honest.
his take is he don't want Hamzat because he says if at least for the title he'll take him. But you know what? I think that they should offer him Hamzat and then the winner fights for the title. But I mean, what's in it for Hamzat? Hamzat he's the bigger guy. He's the bigger draw by far.
By
So
far,
Jared,
yeah.
is not in the right. If he's going to fight Hamzat, his attitude is, I'd rather fight for the champion than fight that guy because to me that guy is the champion to some degree. To some
Yeah.
degree, without holding the title, he is the champion because everybody really wants to fight him, but don't want to fight him. You understand? When he wins the title, then everybody's going to want to fight him. But the problem is, if he wins the title at welterweight, how long will he be able to stay there? He's a big guy. I don't see him being there that long if he's at welterweight champion. I see him being as the middleweight champion. I don't see him being there at one, a welterweight. I don't. I'm just a big dude.
A
Not.
couple good meals away from being out of the weight class.
Well, he didn't make it last time. He
Right.
was. How far off was he off? 8 pounds?
Probably 6 hamburgers. Yeah.
8 pounds or so. So if you're off that much weight, I mean,
8 hamburgers away.
yeah, there's no doubt this guy. To me, he is great, and I believe he's a champion for sure. But at what weight? I think 185. And if he does win at a welterweight, which I wouldn't doubt if he does, I'm just saying, how long can he stay there? I don't think that long.
There's another thing. It's also Arman, Sarukian called out Michael Chandler. He said the fight with McGregor is over, like it's not going to happen. And it's a lot of speculation on that. We're not the rumor mill. We're not the Star magazine here. Why Connor may or may not, or if he hasn't entered USADA pool or whatever's going on.
Or if he's going to go and get in trouble for that rape allegation again.
Another one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh wow! I mean, there was two. I think I'm not trying to make up if there wasn't another one. Yeah.
Well, when he punched out the Miami Heat mascot, it was a planned deal, and he hit the guy. But when he hit him, I said, "Damn, that was a hard shot." And what I think what happened is he didn't hit him in the face. He hit him on top of the costume, right? And I think it brought him back because the force was so hard that it brought him back, and his head snapped on the floor, right?
So the back of his head got whacked.
Back his head whacked. So and then he hit him again, and again he didn't have to hit him here. He just had him atop there, but the force sent him back flying. Because when I saw him fly like that, I went, that looked like a real punch, and it was a real punch, but it wasn't to his chin. It was to the top. He purposely hit him up top, but the force was so much. And then so that happened, and then the allegation of him raping that girl, that's all over the news on the MMA
I haven't seen it, Connor.
Oh, it's all over, man. Look it up. MMA fighting. It's all over.
Really?
All kinds of talk about it. Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't seen it.
I couldn't see why he would have to do that, as rich and as successful and popular as is. Like,
Well,
why would he have to? Why would he have to go find that? I mean, that's okay.
There's a lot of discrepancies on there. They said that he forced her, but yet on the video from TMZ, it shows them going into the bathroom willingly. So I don't know. I don't even want to talk about that stuff. It's bullshit stuff, anyways.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm not trying to run to his defense, but it just doesn't make sense. I mean,
I could care less about that stuff. It's like that. Let other people cover that.
Yeah, let them have fun with that. So you've got fights coming up. Umar
and Tahir. Yeah, Tahir and Enrique Barzola too.
Okay, so Enrique's going to be on Bellator, right?
Yeah, on August 11th, and Shafi's got an opponent August 11th, Enrique. He's fighting in the what do you call bantamweight division, and Shafi in the middleweight.
Well, that's cool.
And Tahir's got a real tough opponent. I think it's 14-1 his opponent or something like that. 14-1, 14-2, something like that. He's got a real tough opponent. And
he's fighting in UFC with.
He's fighting the same card.
Same card as Umar.
Yeah.
So you're going to be at the Tennessee for that one?
Yes, I'll be there.
Yeah, maybe I'll come visit you for that one. That's close. It's crazy the way the world we live in. Go out and watch that fight. That'll be a good one, Hav.
Yep. All right, man.
Happy Father's Day to everybody that watched the podcast. Thanks for coming on, Hav.
All right, man.